Welcome to another episode of So You Want to Read. Our genre of the week is horror. As a hugely popular genre, both renowned and reviled by many, horror aims to elicit fear, shock, repulsion, dread, and other related emotions in the reader by delving into the macabre, the strange, the otherworldly, and all kinds of frightening prospects such as death and the afterlife. Taking place across a wide variety of settings and time periods, its provocative nature often relies on introducing weird or disturbing entities who pose a threat to certain characters, bringing them, and us by extension, into contact with their own mortality and fear of the unknown. It might also describe creepy environments in vivid detail, or harrowing events that upset ordinary affairs in some way, thereby juxtaposing the comfortable and familiar with the eerie and mysterious. Subgenres include Gothic Horror, which, broadly speaking, focuses on death and involves a particularly dark and brooding aesthetic. The Paranormal and Occult, which describe contact with ghosts, demons, and other spirits, or certain ritual practices around them. Survival, familiar to fans of slasher films, in which characters are being hunted by someone or something, and must attempt to survive the circumstances they've fallen into. And horror hybrids like dark fantasy and science fiction horror. If you're new to the genre, or looking for some recommendations, give these a try. To start, we have I Am Legend by Richard Matheson. Compared to the 2007 film adaptation starring Will Smith, this one stands as a classic creepy tale in its own right, with vampires making up the hordes of monsters instead of zombies. Action, romance, betrayal, and desperate attempts to survive and find anything left of humanity. This one's got it all. For a shorter, but exceptionally weird experience, check out H.P. Lovecraft's novella, At the Mountains of Madness. A strong inspiration for John Carpenter's The Thing, the story is told by a professor who recounts his expedition to Antarctica, where he and a group of scholars uncovered ancient ruins and the remains of strange creatures entirely unknown to science, resulting in the mysterious and grotesque slaughter of almost everyone involved in the project. Just as this unfortunate main character warns his colleagues, tread carefully into Lovecraft's world of unspeakable horrors. Finally, turning to a more contemporary title, Stephen Graham Jones' The Only Good Indians is a gripping and complex story of 4 Native American men who are pursued by a vengeful spirit after a deeply disturbing series of events during their adolescent years. Rooted in Blackfoot folklore, and with subtle nods to films like It Follows, prepare for shifting perspectives, biting social commentary, and eerie atmospheres in this equally mystifying and visceral tale. Here are some tips for new readers. Pay special attention to the setting. Mood and atmosphere, as well as how the two relate, are important ingredients for an effective horror story. If you sit through these elaborate descriptions, you should be able to picture a particular place and get a feel for its atmosphere, such as Shirley Jackson's grief-stricken Hill House in The Haunting of Hill House, or Stephen King's labyrinthian Overlook Hotel in The Shining. Notice how you feel while reading. If you aren't immersed in the story, if you're really annoyed by certain characters, or if the supposedly scary parts are just too hokey and predictable, don't be afraid to move on. Give it 50 or 100 pages and figure out whether you'd really like to continue or not. There are plenty of great options for horror literature out there, so feel free to jump into another book that's right for you. Thanks for tuning in. Be sure to contact the Fiction Desk with any questions or requests.